everyone, it's Tara from Teach Without Tears, and welcome back to my guided math series. If you missed the first videos, make sure you go back and watch to find out why I think guided math is the best way to teach your math lessons. You'll also find out how I stay organized and how I run my Meet with the Teacher Center and my Problem Solving Center. Today is all about the Technology Center, which is the third rotation in my guided math lessons. So what I want to do is take you through some of the websites I use for Technology Center because my students really enjoy them. So let's take a look. The first website that I really like is Extra Math. My students don't love it quite as much, but it gives me great data on how well they're doing with their fact fluency. So it's really easy to add students. You just type in their first names. You can also print parent flyers so they can practice at home as well. They have a PIN number that they need to get in. It's just 4 numbers, and I put those on their password cards. And then once they are in, all you need to do is set which operation you want them to practice, and they're good to go. I start my class off on addition for the beginning of 3rd grade, and then they move on to subtraction. But when we get to multiplication, I automatically switch everybody over so that they can practice their multiplication facts. Each day, you'll see a graph of how well they did, whether they're improving or not. And then for each day that they practice, you'll also get a little colored light, either green if they did really well and knew their facts quickly, yellow if they did okay, and red if it wasn't so good for that day. Extra Math usually only takes my students about 5 minutes. They do 1 session and then they move on to the next activity. The next thing they do for their Technology Center is Freckle. And I really like Freckle because if I come over and click on the Math tab, there are a lot of different things that I can assign. They can have them practice the skill or standard that we are working on at the time. I would just click on Assign a Skill or Standard. Sometimes I do it for the one that we're doing. Other times I'll go back and review something that I know they still need to practice. I can assign by individual student. I can also give exit tickets, which is great if you don't want to have to print an exit ticket and want to see if your students understand the day's lesson. And you can even assign in small groups. So for each of your guided math groups, you can create a different assignment based on what those students need. So Freckle is awesome for differentiation. The other thing is, if you don't want to use Extra Math as well, Freckle has a section all about fact fluency, so they can practice their basic facts over here as well. And something else I really like about Freckle is their inquiry-based lessons. I use these projects both as a problem-solving center activity and even in group with me some days, and they have them for all different topics, and they're really high interest. So for comparing numbers, theirs is called Start a Lemonade Stand, and there are a couple of different lessons. There's a video to go with each one, and then there's an inquiry sheet that they can fill out as they go. Some parts of Freckle are completely free. You can get to all of the math standards part of it. This part, though, there are some inquiry lessons that are free, but others are part of the paid program, and you won't be able to get them all for free. But there are a lot that are free as well. So the next one that I really like is Prodigy. And Prodigy is also free unless the only thing that you get if you get the membership is that there's extra incentives for the students. They can get extra coins for being a member and extra parts of the game part of it, which is why they absolutely love Prodigy. It's set up just like a video game. They go to different worlds, they battle people, and they get to get coins and things like that. So it's really fun for them. But it does also practice math facts and all different types of math as well. You can assign either what you're working on at the time, or you can go back to a skill that you want them to focus on. And the other great thing about Prodigy, I was just playing on it the other day with my son who's going into 3rd grade, is that it gives them a placement test at the beginning, and it's going to show how they're doing. I'm still in progress with the placement test, but it's going to give them a level of where they are, and it goes really hard. We actually had to start getting some wrong because he was going to get too high of questions. It was giving us area of triangle questions to really get an idea of where each of your students is. So if you don't have time to assign for the day, it will give them practice in all the different areas on their level anyhow, which is a really neat feature. The next one that I use in my classroom, my students practice on IXL each day. And for each grade level, they have all the different skills broken down. Now for IXL, you do need a membership. However, for free, you can have your students do 10 questions each day. So you would assign them. I just go into the assignment and I click and copy the link up here and assign it in Google Classroom. And then they can answer their 10 questions before it tells them they've reached their amount limit for the day. And then they go on to the next activity. But this is great for extra practice of the skill you're working on. The next math website that I really like and my students also really enjoy is SumDog. And on SumDog, it's also set up like a game, and they level up to different animals, which is really motivating for them. So you can create your assignments for your students in here. You can give them assessments, challenges. You can even set up competitions and contests within your class, which my students really like. It gives them some extra motivation to try hard over here. And you can assign again by standard and what area you want them to be working on. You also can get reports in all of these. There are different reports that you can access, which is great for getting data on where your students are. It shows you what they've already mastered and what they still need to practice. And the data from all of these is also great for forming your future guided math groups. The last math website that I use for Guided Math Center is Khan Academy. And with Khan Academy, I really like it because it's broken down into each topic area. So no matter what I'm teaching, there's a topic on Khan Academy that I can assign to my students. It breaks it down into the different lessons, and there's actually videos that walk students through how to do the skill before they practice it, which is really helpful, especially for my lower learners because they are able to get a review. They meet with me first and meet with the Teacher Center, but then when they get to Technology Center, if they've forgotten what we talked about, they can watch the quick video and be ready to practice on their own. The other thing I really like about Khan Academy is that for each of the topics, there is a unit test. I use this to review before we take the actual test that comes with our Envision Math program because it shows me what they are going to do on the test. I can see what I need to review before I give them the paper test that I need to give them. So all of those websites are great for your Math Technology Center. You can assign them in whatever order you want, whichever ones you want each day. My students have a list of ones that they need to do. I just assign the links in Google Classroom, and then they go in and do their practice, working their way through the links. Extra Math is always the first one, Freckle is always second, and then I mix up the others depending on the day so that they don't get bored with any one program. So for your Technology Center, think about those websites, and there are also tons of other math websites out there to practice individual skills. Technology Center is definitely one of my students' favorite parts of our guided math rotation. If you want the links to any of the sites that I showed you, I have a blog post posted below the video. Go there and you can get into all of those different websites. Don't forget to turn on notifications so that you'll find out about any other videos that I do. Also, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel so you'll never miss a teaching tip. Bye!